Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today to learn a little bit more about our ULIFT challenge out there for our university friends and partners. My name is Joe Steele. I'm the Senior Director of Communications and Legislative Affairs for LIFT. Again, welcome to all of you joining today. We are recording today's session, so if there are folks who are interested in learning more about the challenge, we will be able to share this presentation with them afterwards. And if you have folks that in your organizations that want to learn more about it as well, we will make the recording available to them, or you can reach out to us with any further questions and we'll continue down that road. But in the meantime, we're going to kick it off with the LIFT technology team, go through a little overview of the LIFT challenge, of the ULIFT challenge, and then open it up really to any questions that you guys might have, and we will provide those answers. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to George Panorgis from LIFT, and he'll walk through the overview of the ULIFT challenge for you. So George, the show is yours.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm George Panorgis. I'm part of the Program Management Office at LIFT. As you know, recently we put a call out for projects, specifically for universities. Today, we'll just kind of highlight the specifics of the project call, our decision-making process, and then we'll open it up to any questions that you guys may have that hopefully will help streamline and advance your projects to submit by the end of the deadline there. But so just let's touch base real quick. The project call itself is going to be centered around LIFT's work on the ICME tools, so it should be aligned with hypersonics, lightweight armor, weapon systems, or obsolescence parts. Or it could be a collaboration with LIFT's other technology pillars, including advanced metal and process development. So, it's kind of a general topic, but as you know, working with LIFT, we're focusing on ICME tools and advancements. So, focus your work around that. The down selection is a little bit unique for the process. We're moving forward with awarding 2 projects, and we're going to do this as a joint development project, jointly, I guess, with what we call our technology interest group. So these are the members of LIFT that help steer our organization. And so what we're going to actually have is go through the projects after they've been submitted, down select a certain number of them. And then we're going to hold a 2-hour, what we're calling a Shark Tank review. So it's going to be a panel format. Universities will have a specific time slot during this 2-hour period where they're going to be able to enter the meeting, make their pitch on the technology and their project specifics, allow a few minutes for questions and answers, and then exit the meeting. So our intent is to have around 6 or so presentations that day. And then internally between LIFT and our technology interest group, we'll discuss the merits of each one and then vote on which ones will be moving forward. So it's a little bit different for something that we've done with LIFT, but hopefully that's a pretty straightforward kind of decision-making process. And how we're going to make the decisions of the projects themselves, it's going to be based on the technology, MRL, TRL levels, and advancement. We are capping the proposal funding at $50,000 per project. So the ability to do what's asked, do what's committed in the proposal under that budget within the specific time frame, and also member engagement. So, if you're part of the organization, how that will benefit our ecosystem as a whole. The budget itself, as I mentioned, is $50,000 per proposal. The winners are expected to be part of LIFT. So if you're already a member of LIFT, that's great. If you're not, we'd expect you to become part of our ecosystem. For university memberships, that is a $1,000 annual membership fee. Additionally, 25% of cost share. The cost share is on the 50, or really on the project funding. So the amount that you're requesting to be supported with the project, 25% on top of that should be considered cost share. The duration of the project is expected to be completed 9 months after the award. And we're accepting proposals through the 29th of October. So we've got a number of days still left to assemble those. Again, and then there's really no limit to the number of proposals that could be submitted per university. So, you know, the number of ideas that you have, the more you can submit, the better your chances are of moving forward. So this is specifically for universities. We're trying to move forward and help support through funding on ICME projects. We're not trying to make this too complex. The presentation style is a little bit new for us, but I think it's a good chance for you to socialize your ideas to the greater team. And then we really just have some slides to be completed to be part of the proposal. So basic information as far as who you are, what the title is, what the goal of the project's, moving forward with what the abstract of the project would be, and what partners would be included as well. Additionally, defining the project scope and the approach and the technical solution that you'll be pursuing. So these slides really are placeholders for you to be able to kind of backfill the information. So what are the deliverables? What's the timing? And then also what the budget is. So I think as we move forward and manage these projects with the universities, the deliverables and project schedule is going to be important for a regular cadence of meetings and updates as you progress through the project cycle. And then finally, just kind of a general environmental question to make sure that identifying any work that may be needed at LIFT or any potential hazardous conditions. Just want to be upfront and clear on those. And so with that, we put in these slides that hopefully are consistent among different professors, but also from university to university, pretty straightforward to be able for us to compare and contrast everyone's ideas. And hopefully streamlines the process of submitting a project to LIFT. So the intent of really today's meeting was to open the floor to those who may be considering submitting projects. What questions you may have, any feedback at this point, we'd welcome to hear that from you guys.
Thank you, George. And yeah, now I guess if there aren't any other comments from the LIFT technology team, we can entertain questions or comments, as George said. So feel free to take yourself off mute or use the reactions button, I think, and you might be able to raise your hand. You can raise your hand there as well. I can call on you specifically. So if there are questions or comments, please chime in.
Hey, Joe, this is maybe just to clarify, this is Hadrian Roy, I'm the CTO of LIFT. Just for clarity purposes, so when we talk about the budget and the cost share, so as George mentioned, the cash request can be up to $50,000 per project. It doesn't have to be 50,000, but it can be up to 50,000. And then cost share would be on top of that, right? So the total program value would be the cash that LIFT is providing plus the cost share that the university is providing. That would be the combination of the two. But the maximum cash is 50 grand.
Thanks, Adrian.
And one other thing that I wanted to point out was that part of the challenge is adhering to the slide template. And in the instructions, they state that additional slides will not be considered. So please try to be cognizant of that and strategic in your proposal submissions.
And Amber, as our resident ICME expert, anything that you might want to add or that I might have missed from this brief summary?
No, I think this was a really good summary, George. ICME is very important to LIFT in the work that we're doing. And as he mentioned, our thrust and our technology pillars, ICME is really part of all of them. So there are some good opportunities here for cross-linking of all of those topics.
Thanks.
Yes, I see a hand raised. Rahini, go ahead.
Hi, hey, this is Rohini. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Michigan. Yeah, this looks like a really interesting opportunity. Just a couple of comments. One is that you guys are asking for a 25% cost share. That's quite significant. So is there like I mean, if that's the ceiling, is there a floor for
That
a cost share amount?
that is the minimum cost share amount.
Okay, so 25% is the floor here.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the second question is with regards to the IP. So, like, if we put in a proposal, what are the IP sort of details if the proposal goes through and gets selected?
So that'll be part of the contract, but in essence, the IP is owned. If the university is the one developing the IP, the university owns the IP. LIFT would be granted a royalty-free license to use that.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Excellent, thank you. Again, if there are questions or comments, please go ahead and raise your hand or chime in. Again, the summary overview as well as the submission forms are found on the LIFT website at lift.technology on the project calls section. So you can find that and download those and upload them once your submission is complete. You can upload it right to the website and we will retrieve it there.
Hey, Joe, one other comment too on the cost share. A number of the university partners that we've had have figured out unique ways to provide cost share. One of those things that I do want to mention to everyone to think about is that if you bring in any existing or conceived research or IP into the project, that value can be assumed as cost share. So that's a very important way to help augment the cost share portion of your project. So in other words, you know, if you had done a research project just prior to this that result leads into this project, the value of that can be considered cost share. And that adds up pretty fast.
Good clarification. Thank you. Thank you, Hadrian.
You're welcome.
Adrian, could you say that again? So if we already have some funds for some ongoing work, I mean, how do we account for that?
So if for instance there was a prior project that and you bring that information into the project, it has to be stated up front. But in essence, the hours that were used to get to that result can be included as part of the cost share.
Okay. Can it make a good chunk of it, or is I don't know?
Yes, it can. It absolutely can. The only caveat is that it has to be stated up front. So that has to be part of, right up front. You have to be able to claim that that's being brought into the project. It's a precursor, and you have to provide the detail to it. But as long as you do that, then yes, it can absolutely be a big
okay.
Share.
Okay. Thanks.
Cost share always stirs up some good questions. So thank you. Thank you for the questions and thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. How did I know?
Any other questions or comments about the call or the process or any of the dates or other nuances involved? Again, you can reach out to LIFT directly to any of the technology team members that we have on the line here, Hadrian, Noel, Amber, or George, or myself, and I'll send your message to them, not being a technology team member.
By the way, the other thing, Joe, just to mention, if some of you haven't gone through the LIFT website, There are some examples of some of the past projects and some of the work that we're doing in our technical pillars. And it may be very helpful to go through that. It might be a good thought starter for you from a project perspective. And Joe, it's lift.technology, correct?
That's correct. Awesome. Well, I think not seeing any additional questions. Any final parting comments from the technology team? I know we're looking forward to seeing proposals come in by the 29th. Again, you can upload them directly to the LIFT website. On the project call page, you'll see the ULIFT challenge there, and a couple other projects actually that we have out there right now. But you'll be able to download the submission form summary and upload your submission right on the site as well.
Joe, one other comment, just as an additional piece of information. George mentioned it, but I think a very important aspect of this project and the Shark Tank review that we're going to do is that we're going to be inviting our platinum and gold members to be a part of that review process. And those members include folks from Siemens, Kearney, Hexagon, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, some pretty significant industrial partners that are part of the LIFT ecosystem. So you should be aware that, depending on the project, that could be a very interesting thing to some of those industrial partners. And the whole goal here would be obviously to not only do the project, but then connect you with other people within the ecosystem to continue some of the work that you're doing. Sorry, Joe, that's all.
No problem. There was a question that came in actually via the chat about if universities are allowed to charge overhead in the budget, or is it $50,000 budget without any overhead at all?
Overhead can be included in the budget. Yeah.
But it needs to be part of the 50,000. It's not.
It has to be part of the 50,000, correct?
Got it. Thank you for that. All right, one last call for additional questions or comments to the team here while we have you.
I'd just like to reiterate what Amber had said. So please stick to the template.
Stick to the template and don't go over the number of slides provided.
Yeah, stick to the template. We want apples to apples comparisons.
Less is more.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for taking time to join us today. Thanks for your interest in this unique project call that we have here. And thanks to the technology team for joining us and answering all the questions that we have. And again, we look forward to seeing all your proposals come in by the 29th. So, and then looking forward to the Shark Tank. That'll be fun. So thank you so much, everyone.